Okay, I want to say good evening or good afternoon. Actually, good afternoon sounds a lot more appropriate. Uh, I'm making a video today because I know I don't get to make too many videos for several reasons. One reason is because of where I stay right now. There's a lot of tense, heavy, narcissistic energy, and for me to kind of like not get caught up in it, I just choose to stay quiet because it can be very it can be something, and most people who are not around people who are that way wouldn't understand it. But those who have dealt with being in domestic violence or being in a neighborhood where people do violent things would understand it more, hopefully. So another reason I kind of decide not to say too much on YouTube is because I see how the platform is. And sometimes when I want to talk about stuff, I feel nervous because there's just so many people out there who have mental uh, illness and they're running rampant. There's a lot of just too much going on. So I decide to not put my videos online on YouTube. However, I do realize I do have some people that are listening, and I believe that that's one of the reasons that I have to speak, because people are listening when I do talk. Sometimes it makes me nervous to think about the topics because I said a lot of people, especially on YouTube, have you noticed how I don't use Twitter, I don't use X. Okay, so like I was saying, have you ever noticed, like I said, I'm not a X user, I don't use Twitter. I'm not really big into all the other platforms like TikTok or Instagram. Only reason I have a Facebook is to, I guess, keep memories, but even I'm concerned about, that because it's too much mental unhinged, too many mental unhinged people that are out in the world. And it's really not safe for people to put themselves out there online. But that's one of the reasons I say I don't make videos as much. Maybe God will change it. Maybe things will be cleaned up online and social media will become a little bit more positively impactful. That being said, the reason I'm making this video, I want to talk about Juneteenth. For all those who celebrate it, and for those who that is our lineage, happy belated Juneteenth to you all. I spent the day not on the 19th, but on the 20th, just looking through documents and stuff about American history and slavery, and about 500 years plus of damage that's been done to the people who were here during slavery, my ancestors. And so I didn't know about Kendrick Lamar's concert because, from what I understand, they say it was a pop-up concert, which means that even if it's planned, it's just, supposed to be like a surprise. And so for me, I don't know too much about the politics of my community, or, certain parts of my community. I don't know the politics. But I'm going to say, from what I know from going through the 90s and seeing things like Tupac and Biggie, from what I understand, Kendrick Lamar brought together different, I would call different groups of men that were not on the same page previously. So, if anything I can say that came good, I know a lot more probably did happen, because of Kendrick Lamar's concert. But I can say that is one of the good things that happened is that he brought people together that were meant to be put against each other, and that's a good thing. Now, stemming from that, it goes into another whole another issue of people who have their own culture. They have their own people, and I'm going to say this because it also pertains to Rick Ross and what happened with him in Canada. And so my thing is, I live in America. I've been in America for a pretty long time. I was born here. My ancestors were born here. This is my homeland. I'm multiracial, partly Native American too. So I have roots. My DNA is the DNA of the foundation of America. And I've come to understand that with all the other holidays that we have that are federal holidays, and I really don't celebrate government type stuff and holidays because it's really just for commercialism. And I know we have St. Patrick's Day. We have Native American or Latino Heritage Month. We have Cinco de Mayo. Most recently, but it's always been celebrated with my people, Juneteenth celebrations. I think we have Jewish holidays. From what I understand, we have a big plethora of everybody having their own holidays. And from the way I was raised in America by the government, my people, we were too busy having to work 9-to-5 jobs to pay taxes, to keep up in a system that was built to keep us suppressed and keep us out. So we rarely would have time to really participate in anything outside of just trying to survive and stay ahead and keep our head above, the discrimination. So the reason I'm saying this is because naturally, me being African American, we respect other people's holidays, we acknowledge it, but we don't join in, not because we don't want to help celebrate, but because we have our own thing we have to work on keeping ourselves going. And at the same time, we don't want to seem ungracious by trying to take the spotlight of other people's culture. We celebrate it secretly, and we may not tell them directly because of cultural differences in America. The government telling them not to talk to us, yet we still acknowledge it in a way that we believe that people who have gone through a lot in this land and in the world should be able to celebrate their accomplishments, their freedom, Cinco de Mayo. Now, before I get into the depths of it, let me just say this. There are different types of Latino people over here in America. You have more Spaniard, which is more European, and you have Latino or Latina, which is more Native American people who were enslaved by Spain. The reason I bring this up because I mentioned I am part Native American. A lot of my people are part Native American, and some may not be, may just be African, but they still are my people. The reason I bring this up is because the way I was raised, we don't hate people unless they don't like us or they want to hate us. And then it's not even us hating it. We just know to stay away. We went through the segregation and Jim Crow. So we already know how it feels to have to be separated from people. Yet, as I was growing up, I started to form a connection with the Latino community, mainly Mexican Americans, or Mexican people that come over to America. And I could say with them, they have been kind to me. Now, I'm not speaking for all of Mexico, I'm not speaking for all people, but I just know the ones that I have come in contact with. I am able to go to different cultures, and people treat me nicely. I'm hoping and believing it's because the way I was raised to be humble when it comes to other people, learning about other cultures. So I'm not trying to come in and appropriate. So, me being raised that way, I've had communities of different people, different melanations of skin tone, treat me very nice. And at the same time, other people who are a little bit more extreme outside of that, we don't really mingle. And I can tell they have an evil about them, but not with my Mexicana family. One reason I say this is because I can say this most recently. This happened twice. So about 4 years ago, I was at a store, and there was this little niña, so pretty, little bitty. She like a little China doll, just so tiny. It was late at night. I had to go to the store to go get some clothes to pack because I had to travel somewhere. And I don't travel a lot, but I had to travel. Um, and it was 9 o'clock at night. I don't usually go to the store that late, but I had to go because my flight was the next day. So I'm in the store shopping for clothes and stuff. I'm in the women's section shopping for clothes and different things, looking for women's women's wear. And I looked down and I happened to see this little angel, little Nina, very beautiful. And she says, "Mommy." And I said, "Huh?" And she says, "Mommy." And so what I did was I realized that she was trying to look for her mother. Mind you, I grew up and I've worked customer service. And the number one thing that we do is when a child is separated from their parent, we do not say lost child because that would let weirdos feel like they can come up there and try to claim the child. So what we do is instead we say lost parent, please come to the front. We have a lost parent, please come to the front. So with that training, I automatically knew, do not pick her up, because I do not want her to think that it is okay for anybody that is not in her family to be handling her and picking her up. So instead of picking her up, what I did was I kind of, followed right behind her to see where she was about to go, all the while looking out to see if I can see her mother. So as we were looking, and me trying not to lose track of her, because like I said, I didn't want to touch her or hold her. I just wanted her to, you know, be in my eyesight, in my space. So I look over and I see her Enduela, her grandmother, looking for her. And I said, "Hey," I said, "Hi." I said, "You looking for the little one?" She said, "Yes, see, yes." And so I said, "Oh, she's over here." So we try to turn around a little corner, and I was in the clothing area. So, if she was to go up on those little racks, you may see her. But she was right there, and I reunited her with her Enduela. So I went back to shopping, but I did look to see, to look further down towards the frozen food area, and I saw her mother shopping with the grocery shop cart. So she was there with her mother, her Enduela. Um, make a long story short, to make a long story short, um, I didn't know why she came to me. God showed me why she came to me, but in the beginning, I didn't know why. I said, "Here I am, a person of another race, and she trusted me to come to me. And of course, she's my little angel, so I'm going to make sure I reunite her with her Duela and her mother." And so that was just one instance of having a Latina child trust in me to make sure that I bring them back to their familia, their family. So most recently, maybe like last week or so, I was walking around, and I was in a city. And I was walking around and I was trying to head somewhere, and all of a sudden I got to the little side stop where the traffic light is, so I just normally stop. I happened to look over, and right as I stopped, there was a little niño, a little boy, and it's reminded me of what I went through 4 years ago. So he apparently fell off his little tricycle, and he fell on the ground. And so me remembering how to handle children when and his parents were there, so that's one reason I was happy. And I was very just I wasn't hands on right away. I just looked to see, okay, well, maybe he can get up. So let me see if he can get up. So after maybe about 4 or 5 seconds, I saw that he was having a hard time getting up off the ground. I reached over and I picked him up with my hand. He was so tiny. Let me tell you something about these little Mexican babies or Latina babies. They are so thick. Their parents really do feed them. They're some thick little angels, really thick. So he was tiny, probably just learning how to walk, but he was solid. So I picked him up, and his little skin looked like gold. I said, look at him like a little Buddha statue, just so adorable. And so I picked him up, and then I waved at him like that, and I saw that his tricycle was still down on the ground. So what I did was I then picked up his tricycle and set it up right for him. Now, when that happened, I didn't have to think twice about it. I saw there was a baby that needed help, and I just need to help the baby. He just happened to be Latino. No problem at all. So for me, I haven't ever had an issue with Native American Latino people. I haven't. Now, I've heard that Spain came through and they made everybody racist, a lot of people racist, and that can be true. But we still share DNA. And so this brings me back to Juneteenth. I've heard a couple of people saying that they felt like they were left out and not acknowledged in the celebration. And it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of my video, how we were raised as African American people to not interfere in other people's culture. And when people are celebrating, we can when other people are celebrating their cultural inheritance. I don't say legacy, because that's a different type of colonistic talking points or talking words they use. But when people are celebrating where they come from, everything they've been through,